And the thing I love about that trail is on the 1 mile, like, steep uphill, there's a sign, like, halfway that says President Lincoln and his men carried cannons up this hill. And so you're like, you just stop complaining and sweating, and you're like, I don't have a cannon.
Welcome. This is Lauren Stites, and you are listening to Her Side of the Trail. Today, I'm speaking with Kendall Concini. Kendall is an avid hiker, and she lives in Maryland, so she shares a lot of her favorite trails in Maryland, which you'd be surprised that there's some really good hiking trails in Maryland. Kendall is also a new author, so we touch a little bit on her first book, Mom's Cloud and the Beach Adventure, which is available for purchase now. So let's get into it. Hi, Kendall. Thank you so much for joining me today. How's it going?
It is great. It is like perfect fall weather. So I've been outside today.
Yeah, it was a nice day today. That reminds me, where are you located?
I'm in Maryland,
Where in Maryland are you?
a little under Baltimore in like Severn. So perfect location to kind of get to a bunch of different locations, but have our little quiet neighborhood.
That's nice. So you're close to like DC too, and
Yep.
then you're not too far from the mountains of Maryland, all the good
Nope.
hiking. Now, you're here, you're on a hiking podcast. I want to know, like, have you always been a hiker? Did you grow up hiking, or did you kind of start that as an adult?
Oh, I grew up like we had a great piece of like backyard property where we had our little home outside of our home. We called it Moss Island. My mom would, kind of kick us outside and lock the house doors, and it was all outdoor going in the woods. And so finding new trails and new adventures is just has been my life.
That sounds like a perfect childhood.
Yes.
Like, just go outside and explore.
And now my husband and I, when we plan trips, it kind of starts at like how many hiking trails are in the area. And then it's if it's a kidless trip, it's how many hard hikes. And if it's kids' trips, it's how many flat hikes. And so we start with the hikes, we follow up with the breweries, and then we blend them together.
Yeah, same thing. Why we're going anywhere at all is because, like, oh, I heard about this one hike. Let me see what else is in the area too. And then to break it up because, that my family unfortunately doesn't always want to go hiking with me. I have to look up other things too. I'm like, oh, is there museums or are there other attractions? Is there something else to do? So no, but same, yeah, the hikes always kind of drive the destination, right?
Yes.
Um, so you hike then obviously with your family. Do you do a lot of hiking in Maryland? Like, because there's some people, I don't think people realize like how great hikes there are in Maryland. Like, there's a lot of good hiking in
Yes.
Maryland.
We have our favorites that it's just if we haven't been out in a while, like we go back to a favorite because we know what to expect. We know what we enjoy about it. And then if we have, a weekend, we have been trying to explore new trails and kind of get some variety, drive a little further and rotate them. It also depends on like who we're with and what they want to do. So we do have the same, like, do you want to rock climb? Do you want a flat path? Do you want to sweat? Do you want to run? Like, and so Maryland just has so much variety to offer.
So much. Yes. I love hiking in Maryland. I've, done a little bit down there and I definitely have more, especially the western side of the state. I want to explore more over there. Now you mentioned you had some favorites then. So give me one of your favorite trails that you love to do in Maryland.
So there's the classic Maryland Great Falls side trail. We've
Mhm.
done Virginia. We don't love it as much, but we have been doing the Great Falls side, and then Billy Goat Trail B is
Mhm.
just it's the rock scrambling, it's the views. We have like having done it so much in our life, we have like landmarks. Like we have certain rocks that we just like know that rock, the shape of the rock means something to us. And so that has been just what do you want to do this weekend? And if we can't come up with a plan, we just go hike Billy Goat B.
Now, how old are your kids?
They haven't done that one yet
Oh,
because
okay. I was
they're
going to
4
say.
and 2. Now we
Okay. Yeah.
have, I have hiked Billy Goat B while pregnant, and we've hiked it when the oldest one was in a baby sling. But after
That's
that, it was sort
impressive.
of like we don't wanna carry them up anymore or carry
No.
them, so we haven't done that one with them yet, but we have taken them on the flat towpath down to the falls to see the
Mhm.
falls and kind of go back.
We did the Billy Goat Trail. We've done it twice now because, like you, it's a favorite. So both times we were coming back from DC area, I'm like, let's stop in Billy Goat Trail before we go home. But my daughter, I think she was like 8 or 9, I think, at the youngest. So, and there was someone on the trail. No, maybe she was 10, but there was someone on the trail who was a little younger, like maybe like a 6 or 7 year old, and she handled that wall climb like a champ. So, you'd be surprised what your kids can do. Maybe not the 2-year-old, but yeah.
Yesterday I was in the car with a friend and we were talking about hiking trails, and I was saying about coming on this podcast, and when we hike the Billy Goat Trail, we get, like, geared up. Like, we run the towpath, we hike
Uh-huh.
it, then we turn around and we hike it back, and we make sure to do every difficult path we can and get a real workout because that's just what my husband and I enjoy. And I was joking because he was like, "You're those people we pass who is just decked out." And I'm like, "This hike isn't that serious." And I was like, "Yeah, what are you?" And he goes, "I wear like jeans." I was like, "You're the people we hate." Where I'm like pouring sweat and I'm like, "How is this person just chilling in jeans?" And so
Anytime
it's
we're hiking and we see someone in jeans, my husband always makes a comment. He's like, "How are they hiking in jeans?"
exactly, and it's just the fascinating thing about that trail is because there are different, like, little routes within it you can take and ways you can do it. It's just anyone can really get on that trail and just have a completely different experience, and it blows my mind when I'm just like, "They're just, like, chill walking," and I'm like, "No, workout mode."
What's another favorite trail in Maryland that you have?
So, I like Billy Goat and, like, the evolution of when we did it. So I did it with friends, we used to run, then we'd go out for, like, brunch, and then we moved into we show every single person that comes to Maryland that trail, but we also really love Maryland Heights, which is, like,
Yes.
way up there. But
Yes.
that one is, like, make sure we prepare people, and it's changed over the years. We went recently and realized they, like, took out the parking, and you're supposed to get a shuttle and stuff. So we tried to be stubborn and park on a road and, like, walk down the one road and get to it. We did some, like, train trekking on the rails, to get there. But I love that one because I mean, it's completely steep uphill, but
Yes.
there's something just so cathartic about, like, knowing it's going to be strenuous and getting to the top, and the view is worth it. They
So
have the
worth it.
pull off where you get to, like, you can do the pull off and get to the little area where you can see Virginia, West Virginia, and Maryland and Harpers Valley, and it's gorgeous, it's worth it. But then you can keep going and do the entire one, and the thing I love about that trail is on the 1 mile, like, steep uphill, there's a sign, like, halfway that says President Lincoln and his men carried cannons up this hill, and so you're like you just stop complaining and sweating, and you're like, "I don't have a cannon," but then it also says that President Lincoln was like, "Okay, men, you got it," and went back down, so I always love doing that trail with people and saying, "If you take one more step, you've gone further than Lincoln, so just move it." Without a cannon, but I like the history of the trail. We liked every time we go on a trail on the drive there, my husband will, like, look up some of the history and then, like, wow, we're walking, spout the facts and stuff. So that one's just is so much nostalgia of Maryland built into it, and then the views when you get up there and you can see people, like, tubing down the river and stuff, and just that one's another seeing the groups that do it is very interesting, and they say no dogs, but we always see the little dog trying.
That trail I did with my kids a couple years ago, and I actually had COVID, but I didn't realize I had COVID. So I'm like, I don't know if that trail was as hard as I thought it was, or if it was just so hard because I couldn't breathe right because I had COVID. Yeah, no, that wasn't fun. Totally agree though. The payoff, totally worth it. And I did not do the further along, so I did not hike further than Abraham Lincoln. No, that's great. All right, what else in Maryland? I mean, if you've been over the state, I wanna know because 'cause I've been to those 2 trails that you've mentioned, but I'm just wondering if there's any other good trails that maybe I need to know about.
Kind of outside of Baltimore and Catonsville, and it's the Soapstone Trail.
Oh, I haven't done that one.
It's a little wonky. You have to really pay attention to signs and do a little research because we found that part of the ownership of the trail changed, and so where we used to go is now private property, and so we've
Oh,
we've just been kind of, like, running through and trying to be like, we are figuring out getting back on the trail, but it is a nice terrain change again. So we have taken the kids on that one. There's a lot of flat paths, and then it kind of comes to a river part, and you get to jump over the river rocks and play. And we like playing like the Winnie the Pooh sticks where you put it down and
I
watch
love
them
that.
raise. So that one's a cute one to like pause and have some lunch spots. Pretty easy. I think it's like 2.4 miles or something altogether. It just usually takes us a lot longer.
With kids in tow, definitely. You gotta double your time easily.
Yes. But we enjoyed that one, and they've done that a few times because it's close to home too. And some of the if we get time to take them, again, another, like, steep incline one, but it's a fairly short trail to do Annapolis Rocks, but
Oh
making sure it's the one that is, like, further out there with the actual signpost. Because there's 2. We found out when we were not at the same parking lot with
oh,
friends.
no! 2
But it's
different
fair.
Annapolis rocks?
Yeah, we threw it in the GPS, but you have to, like, make sure you're clicking, like, Annapolis Rocks trailhead, and it
Okay.
will take you to the actual park one, and then that the kids did not enjoy it. It's, like, sort of man-made, sort of helped out by the park's built stairs, and so you do have to do the stairs trek that seem like they never end, but they do eventually, and then you get a really beautiful, just kind of, like, forest walk and go through everything, and so that's been a good one.
I love that. Why does it always feel like stairs on a hiking trail never end? Like
Yeah, I actually prefer going up, like, I know it doesn't in the moment, I always say, like, I forget that I say I prefer this, but going down, I feel, is a lot harder on my knees, and I
Mhm.
remember meeting this woman once who was, like, a very intense hiker, and we were actually going down Maryland Heights, and she was just like, "You're doing it wrong," and she had her sticks, and so she's like, "You're not supposed to be upright, you're supposed to sort of, like, hunch and be, like, in a squat, and then, like, shimmy down," and it feels ridiculous, but it does feel a lot better
It's a
on the
lot better on
knees.
the knees, yeah.
So so sometimes the occasional trail person will see me looking like, "What is she doing?" And I'm like, "It really is better on the knees," but I prefer going up.
So, that reminds me because we did earlier this year, this spring, we did a trail, and I don't know if you've heard of it. It's in Pennsylvania. It's called the Thousand Steps Trail. It's, like, kind of like South Central
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. So there's 1,000 steps. It's these 1,000 stone steps that speaking of people having to do things like, that were like, "Oh, we're hiking," and you had to pull a cannon up there, right? These steps are there because there were miners, and this is what they had to do. This was their commute to work every day was to go up these 1,000 steps. So but going up hard, coming down so much harder. And I don't know if it's just because our legs were so tired or just because, the constant coming down, whatever. I don't know. But yeah, it's coming down a lot harder. I agree.
Well, my husband and I for before my daughter came and we knew we weren't gonna travel for, like, a year or whatever, we did, like, the baby moon, and we went to
Mhm.
Utah, and so we hiked all over Utah, and that
How
was,
fun.
I couldn't drink, I couldn't go to, like, other activities, so we just hiked, and we had realized when we go on trips how much, like, splicing in a beer tour or something kinda slowed our bodies down because I was just like, "Nope, we got nothing else to do, let's hike all day."
Let's hike, hike, hike.
And then hiking, like, super pregnant, if he would complain, it was nice to just turn and be like, "Really?" But then I
Like,
also realized those trails that were, like, the national parks didn't have as many private pull-offs to, like, use the restrooms every 5 seconds. So it's like, now as we're hiking, I'm like, even if a trail is hard, I kinda have to remind myself to not complain because 'cause I'm like, "I'm not pregnant.
yes.
I don't have to go to the bathroom
You
every
don't have to
5
pee every
seconds
5
anymore."
seconds. Yeah.
So I'm like, just kind of get through it and go, but
That's so funny. So, you know what? That's something that you don't even think about, like, when you're hiking when pregnant, like, that's one of the obstacles is that you have to
yeah.
pee pee all the time. We've been to, what, Rocks State Park, so that's a
Yeah.
fun have you done Rocks with the kids? They have, the Kilgore Falls.
Oh,
which is a
yeah,
flat
okay,
trail. The kids could
yes.
definitely handle that. And then the king and queen seat at the other
Yeah,
location of the park,
that's
which
out if
also
you
the
go
kids could handle.
Cunningham Falls, kids can handle
Yes,
Cunningham
Cunningham
Falls, that
Falls.
one's a fun
We
one.
we have not done Cunningham Falls because we went up to, Wolf Rocks and Chimney Rocks. It was like a 4-mile loop, and by the time we were done, my kids were like, "No, we're not going to a
Yeah,
waterfall
we
now,
did the
mom, we're done."
Chimney
Yeah,
Rock.
yeah.
It's also been fun because there was the day where we had, like, the baby sling, and she can just be in it the whole time. We go and do them, and she gets to, like, get out and play. Then there was the combination of she's 3, she's gonna walk a little bit and then get back in the sling, and now she's 4, so she is supposed to just completely walk the whole thing, but
Okay.
she has been, like, brutally aware when we go on some trails, if we start going downhill on a trail, she'll, like, halfway through turn and go, "Is this a loop? Do we have to come back up this?" And she'll be like, "I don't wanna come back up this," and we have to, like, convince her to move on, but I'm the same like, she picked it up because that's what I'll always say. I'm like, "Oh, if we're going downhill now, we have to come back up." But then if we make her walk, like, the steps or anything, I'll tell her, like, "You get to come down on the way back," and she hasn't figured out that it's easier to go up, but it's been the Chimney Rock was one where she was pointing out too. There
She's
were
very
some spots
intuitive
where she's like,
four-year-old.
"Not going that way." I'm like, "Okay."
What are some of the motivations for you to get out on the trail? Do you find yourself needing to get out, obviously, for exercise? Do you do it sometimes I just need to get outside and be in nature because my headspace is just not good, or just to for family time? Like, what are your motivations for getting out on the trail?
I think it's a combination of all of them. Like, back to Billy Goat Trail, when we first started it, that was we knew we had this all you can eat brunch place with the little plates. And so we knew we were always going to go run the Billy Goat Trail towpath, hike it, run back, and then kind of like feel not guilty about brunch.
I
So
love
that
that.
was
It's good
like
motivation.
yeah, our good routine, like, this is our workout, and then when we travel, it's just exploring different places, like, the different scenery and what their trails look like, different terrain, and then most trails take you up to a super gorgeous lookout and, um I think Sharp Rock, that's where there's the graffiti and stuff too,
Oh,
out in
yeah, I've
Chimney
heard of
Rock.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
that was just gorgeous to go see
Mhm.
among the kind of forest there, and so we like being able to get really high and see the scenery. So we've always tried to include anytime we travel, like, a high point to just kind of overlook everything. And then we both, I work off my phone for work. I work off my phone for like my part-time job and gigs. And so it's nice to just have that. We're going to completely put it away and disconnect. And then when we go on trails, sometimes it's we know how long the trail is and what do you want to talk about? Are we having like a mini like home what's going on therapy session? Are we like catching each other up on work or friendships? And sometimes my husband and I play this fun game where we pick a category, so say movies with sports, and we just spend like the whole time going back and forth and you have to name it until someone runs out. And
Oh, I like that.
so
That's fun.
we prepare for hikes that way too, so if he looks up the history and he says like, "Okay, Lincoln was on this trail, so I wanna pick, like, movies with presidents," and so it just kind of, like, connects to it and stuff. With the kids, we have like, they love collecting leaves and sticks, and so we'll do it and then come home and make, like, art projects. We usually if it's somewhere new and we have, like, driven really far, we bring home a rock. So we do have a rock collection, which I'm trying to teach
Kids
my
always wanna
daughter.
bring home rocks.
They do. I am very much trying to teach her right now that our rock collection is significant rocks, and mom doesn't want, like, every rock, but she will, like, come home from school and be like, "I got these from the playground," and, like, we'll bring those back. Like, so it's just a lot like, it's our favorite activity, just, like, nature. I love a good rock, so I love anything where there's rock scrambling. We have so many
Same,
pictures of trees
same.
I love trees with the little hidey holes, and we pretend to, like, get in them, like Alice in Wonderland style, and I love ones that become seats, so we try and take, like, the pictures or hanging from them and climbing them, and so
I
it's
love
just
that.
depends on the mood, why we're going, and what the activity while we're there is.
No, but that's fun, and that's traditions too then, it's like the kids know what to expect when they're out on the trail, and then they start kinda leading that way too, right? They're like, "Hey, let's get our picture on our seat," or, "Let's find this rock," or, whatever, so I think that's great. It's a great way to bond as a family, so
And it helps them with like, she knows what I love, so when we go hiking, she'll try and find it, so that kind of, like, shifts her focus to being out and, like, it's an adventure, it's a scavenger hunt. I also like kind of our routine. Like one of our friends from Maryland who we've always hiked the Billy Goat Trail with, she now lives in Ohio. So when she comes home and visits, if the weather allows, we're like, okay, we have to make time to go out here. And like that's our kind of memory founding is like going back to the trail where we started and going through it.
Now, you are a writer too, correct? Do you write a lot about your hiking experiences, like, reflecting on that?
So I am writing a children's picture book.
Ooh,
Based around I do have depression, and I needed a way to teach my daughter about it, and so we used a cloud analogy, and I explained that, it started at the beach, and it was they love the beach, they love water, that's their favorite place, and I said, "Mom doesn't always show up at the beach the same way, it's like I have shade," and she was able to get that.
that is such a great analogy.
Thank you. She helped me. We put some lines together. It was a bedtime story that we made into a book because I realized like we made it because I couldn't find it. So we should put it out there for everyone else.
Yes.
Um, but it is part of a series, and there is some like going out to a park and a walk in the second book. So it hadn't been directly about like hiking, but it is about being
Being
outside and
outside.
trying to like have the elements and what nature does to you and showing that there are different ways people can show up and why they're in places and then what they kind of get out of the experience and take away. So in the second book actually it's a lot of mom does find a tree to go sit on and they tell her like you stay here and then the kids find a rock that they're like playing and hiding behind, so it's like elements of it, but we are very much an outdoor family. And so that came into our, even when writing it, there were lines that we were tweaking and stuff. And I remember sometimes walking on a hike and just like the whole hike making my husband like hear the book over and over and over again until we got it and then trying to like write it down while I'm going.
I always find that I'm more inspired after being outside. So, I can definitely appreciate that you use being outside to perfect your craft in that sense. What are the names of your books? Please share.
Mom's Cloud and the Beach Adventure is the first one. I haven't come up with the second one's name yet. I keep changing the location. It's like it is a park. We are on a walk. It is part in the forest. So I'm like, we'll see when it finally lands.
You'll have like an epiphany one day. You'll be like eating dinner and it'll just come to you.
Yes.
That's always how it is, right? Now, is your first book available for purchase right now?
So it comes out in January of 2026.
Which
We
is
do have
perfect.
pre-orders up. So and pre-orders come with swag. So my kids are making little things to go with the books, which has been fun too.
So at the time that this podcast airs, your book will be available. So where will it be available?
It will be available on Amazon because that's where
Okay,
we're going to kind of start in the self-publishing. And then my website is cloudydaychronicles.wordpress.com. And I'm on Instagram. So Cloudy
awesome.
Day Chronicles.
So people can follow along and learn more about the second book, and maybe by the time this podcast airs, the title will have been decided. Who knows? Now, Kendall, I'm so appreciative of your time and you sharing some of your favorite Maryland hikes with me. Before I let you go, I'm going to ask you a question. If you could only do one kind of hike for the rest of your life, would it be like a hike to a waterfall, or, someone actually was like, oh, how about a lake? I'm like, lake counts too, but any kind of water view, or a scenic overlook?
Actually, I like, if I can only do one, if you've ever done it's called, like, Devil Rocks or something like that, it's in Virginia, and you basically, like, hike and and there's just a field of rocks, and they, like, stack on each other, and you can get to a little viewpoint, and it's somewhat the forest and then just rocks, and there's just something about the beauty of that and, like, how did they fall here? And they don't move, and some do move, and they all just look wildly different, and I can spend forever doing that same
Okay.
hike and getting there and just looking at different rocks. It's just the way they are because it's in the forest and it just, like, opens up, and so it was this amazing hike to just be in, like, this thick, thick, dark forest and then just have it open up to, like, this strange rock field where trees kind of grow through it and persevere around it, and then, like, that was my favorite and, like, ideal hike is to just go kind of see the forest develop around it each time you go hike again.
Kendall, again, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I could talk about Maryland hikes all day because I love hiking in Maryland. Like I said, I have to explore more of it. But every time we've gone down there to hike, we've had a great time. So I appreciate you hanging out.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to Her Side of the Trail. There are more hiker stories to hear, so please follow along to hear them as soon as they come out. And if you like this episode, please share it with your friends or on social media. Her Side of the Trail is hosted and produced by me, Lauren Stites. I can't wait to share another hiker story with you next episode.